Hello everyone, this is my first video. I hope you enjoy it. I'll just explain who I am. I'm Grace, and I'm designing a happier life. That's my mission, to design myself and you guys a happier life through art and design and illustration and all the lovely visual things. So this video, I am going to be showing you how some basic, really simple mark making can spark all sorts of creativity and potentially an income stream for you, or just for fun, because you don't have to make money. I mean, if you're a kid and you're listening to this, then chances are you're not that interested in making money yet, but one day you might be, and hopefully this will help. So suspend your disbelief and imagine my computer screen, my iPad screen, is a piece of paper, and I'm holding a 6B pencil because that's the digital brush that I'm using. And I'm just mark making. You can see I've done little dashes and some little dots. And it's really important to just familiarise yourself with what you're using, your materials, and how they work together. Depending on what paper type you're using a 6B pencil, you'll get different marks, because if it's a grainier, chunkier, thicker paper with more texture, less of the graphite sticks, so you get a more patchy image than if you had really smooth paper. So and that's for any material as well. They all interact with each other differently. So if you're creating a piece of art, even digital art like I am, it's a good idea to play around with your tools and see what they can do. So lots of little lines, dashes, dots. You can play about with how hard you press, how quickly you move the pencil or pen or whatever material you've got. And remember, it's not just about the marks you make, it's how you put them all together and make other things. So you might want to draw a box, or do some circles, or squares, or triangles, or shapes. You might want to do shading, speckles. It's just a case of playing around and seeing exactly what you can get out of that one tiny little pencil. You can get dark, you can get light, you can get fuzzy, you can get smooth. And ultimately it's the mark. All the marks will express a different feeling when you put them together in the final picture. You might want all the same marks. You might decide you want different marks because you really like the mixture of textures. So you can see we've gone quite a way into cross-hatching here. Different, when you use the brush on its side or the pencil on its side, you get slightly softer, thicker, fuzzier feel. So here's some shapes and splodges, just to add a bit of texture, because otherwise it looks a bit boring, doesn't it? And that's the way the creative brain works. It thinks, oh, what's going on over there? Oh, well, it looks a bit empty over here. Let's do something over here. And it really doesn't matter what you do at this point. It's just experimenting and seeing what spaces you can fill, and how you can fill them. There's a phrase called brain dump that I think is particularly appropriate for this kind of exercise. It just gets out of your system all those little marks and niggles and like ticks of creative juice that just want to spark out. I don't know how else to explain it, really. I think you either get what I'm saying or you don't, but if your brain overruns with lots and lots of information and you just want to get it all down and focus on something else, this is a great way of doing that. And I think it really does. It really helps. So once you've got all of that out of your system, you can focus a little bit better on what you want to do with all those marks. So with this particular bit, what I did, I tried smudging everything as well, and then I thought, I'm going to add some colour, and I used the same pencil, so it's a bit like colour pencils, and just layered over the colour, seeing what sort of effect came out. I thought it looked a bit like a building, the rectangle and the arch being coloured the yellow there. It looks a bit like a shell. So yeah, just coloured in, see where it takes me. And this would be the point where I start really thinking about, oh, could I turn this into anything? I'm really attracted to that particular bit. I like the shape of the thing that looks like a shell, and it makes you think, oh, well, what if that's a shell? What's the thing next to it? I don't know. It looks a bit like a building, and what could I do with those? And in my head, I think I could turn that into a pattern. So I carry on colouring for a little bit, and then it's a case of isolating what you want to use. And if you've just done this on paper, you can cut it out, take a photo of it, scan it in, and do whatever you want with it, really. If you've got access to a computer, then all this is possible. And I think there's very few people these days that don't. But if you don't, it's a case of just draw it again, and draw it again, and draw it again, and see what happens. Just cut it out, stick it somewhere. Not like on another bit of paper or something. And that's what I've done here. I've just played around with the colour and the shape. I thought I'll line them all up. They're by no means equal or even. And yeah, just seeing what happens. And I kind of got inspired by like little crab legs or crab sticks and seashells in this one. And I thought, yeah, it looks pretty cool. It does end up looking a bit like bacon with the extra lines on there. So that's all right. It doesn't matter. This is all just a mark making exercise. I'm not necessarily going to do anything with this. It's just to get the creative juices going, and playing around with shape and scale and colours, and yeah, that's it. It's just having a bit of fun, and that's what art is all about, really. It's certainly my art anyway. I certainly don't take it too seriously, and it's nice to have you along for the ride. The next bit may or may not be relevant. This is what you want to do, or what you could do, sorry. If you wanted to do something with that pattern that you've made, there's so many print-on-demand services these days. This is predominantly what I use to make my products or merchandise to sell, because I can't afford to buy a lot of one design. Even if loads of people said, yeah, we love it, it's great, they're not necessarily going to buy. So print on demand is quite a cost-effective way of getting your stuff out there. Plus, the person buying knows that they're not contributing to really high carbon footprint with mass-produced things. They're supporting an independent maker as well. So there's all good things come from print on demand. And there's plenty of sites that you can try and upload your designs. And that's basically what I'm doing here, just showing a few different products and things that you could get your picture on. And anyone can do this. This isn't a designer thing. This is a general public thing. If you consider yourself an artist or a creative or a maker or a designer, this is the internet is for you to get your stuff out there, get it made, get it seen, and get some appreciation for it. If you don't want to do that and you want to keep it all to yourself, that's fine. That's whatever your art is for. Well, that's what it's for. It's completely up to you. I think this design worked quite well on the little notebook there. But there's so many things you could print clothes. You can make patterns out of things. Repeat patterns out of just single icons. You don't have to have a really fancy pattern like the ones on here. You could just have hearts. You could draw your own heart, and just repeat it over and over again on a pattern. All these things just make it so accessible. This particular site is called contrado.co.uk, but there's Printful. There's so many that you can make your own stuff, or buy other people's as well. So that is it. We've come to the end of my first video. I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful. If you didn't, please don't troll me, because that would make me cry, and that's not a pretty sight. I'd love a review. again, preferably just if you enjoyed it. No, I like feedback, criticism that is constructive. Like, don't take the mickey out of the way I sound. Like, content criticism would be helpful. Yeah, thanks. Bye.